Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Maelstrom behind the mic, and today, kind of a new video, new concept, new stuff. So you may have recognized, running in the background of your screen, Command & Conquer General Zero Hour. So you may know me from the streams I did of Rise of the Reds, my previous vlog on Operation Firestorms. There are mods actually for this game. And since I advertised on Facebook that I have a new concept, I thought it would be a good idea to introduce that new concept. So, the concept will be that I will test, judge, in a way, mods that have been created. And I don't mean by that I will only do Rise of the Reds, Shockwave, Contra, all the big well-known stuff. No, I want to test the most mods possible. So I have one already planned for the next video that will come after this one. But to introduce the mods, I will start by introducing the base game, which makes sense to me. So, contrary to the mods, this one will be recorded in one go and will not have any kind of montage on it. So it will be very basic, should I say? But the others, the mods, will actually be heavily montaged, but in a, how can I say that, very humorous way. I don't want my opinion to be like some kind of downside or a hate bringer for any kind of mod. No, I want to see what the community does, make fun of it, I have stars in my eyes, etc. But I don't want to really judge, because let's be honest, any kind of mod, even the worst mod ever, I couldn't do it myself because I absolutely suck at modding. And so yeah, I will do that in a humorous way. I will maybe give grades or whatever, but that means nothing. That's my personal appreciation of it, and it's not to be taken seriously. That doesn't make any sense, right? Well, enough of the talking, let's go to the game. So Generals and Zero Hour both released in 2003 by Electronic Arts. So this game, for those who ignore it, create three factions: the United States of America, China, the Republic of China, actually, People's Republic of China, to be perfectly clear, and a fictive terrorist organization, the Global Liberation Army. I will not enter into the details of its release because it involves quite a lot of politics, and I don't want to go into that. The base game, so Command & Conquer Generals, had only those three factions, and the extension, Zero Hour, brings 9 generals in addition to the base factions. So 3 generals per faction. I will go into the challenge screen. Yeah, sure. So I can show you the different generals that are in game. So General Towns, who is a specialist of laser weaponry. General Granger, who is a specialist of air power. And General Alexander, who is a specialist of weapon of mass destruction. That's in theory. In practice, she's more a defense-orientated general. All those are the US generals. For China, we have General Tao, one of my personal favorites, who is a specialist of nuclear weapons, which is quite interesting. General Kuai is a specialist of tanks. Tanks! General Fai is a specialist of infantry. Infantry and mass spamming, if you want. Because China relies a lot of numbers instead of having like heavy micromanagement. The purist will say, yeah, you need micromanagement for China. Yes, you do. You do for all factions. But China relies a lot more on numbers because of their horde bonus. And last but not least, GLA has 3 generals as well. Prince Kassad, who is a specialist of stealth units. So a lot of camouflage, etc. Very annoying. Dr. Thrax, my personal favorite. Specialist of anthrax. Anthrax! Yeah. And General Jaziz, a specialist of demolitions. Demolitions, suicide attacks, etc. etc. So, for the demonstration of this mod, I will go into skirmish and play different skirmish. I will not show all generals, I will show one general per faction. And I will tell what I think of this game, the flaws, the good sides and bad sides, etc. I will play on the most well-known map of all time on this game, Tournament Desert. I will go with my favorite green, of course. And I will play against a medium AI because let's not be ridiculous, shall we? So, as I said, you can also play the base factions, which are, in my opinion, the best. Because Zero Hour has this weird thing that if a general has a perk, like for instance, let's take Air Force General, he has very strong Air Force, but instead he has no tanks, like at all. He has like light vehicles, etc., but no tanks. And I'm like, what? Why? Because I'm Air Force? That? Well. So, I will show you that, and I think for each general. So, I will start with USA, and I will go... Actually, I like none of the US generals because of that very feature, because US are the worst in that regard. So I will present the base faction. So, contrary, oops. Let's... Yeah, I will limit myself to... Oops, 30 FPS, because since it's an old game, it's not that... it's not planned to play in 50 FPS. So, contrary to any kind of Command and Conquer game in the franchise, this game doesn't have an MCV, or a construction yard for that matter. It has construction units, which, to my opinion, is a good thing. Very good thing. Infantry in this game is very variable as well.
What's the mission, sir? Have a job for me? Bring on the scaffolding. Special forces here.
So here is the basic USA infantry, which is the
Ready for action.
US Ranger, and also this game doesn't have like a engineer type
Make some
unit.
improvements.
It has
Made in the US of
the
A.
capture
All
upgrade,
finished.
which is located in the barracks and costs a lot. When I'm not used to this gameplay.
Let's build.
So yeah, you have to purchase that upgrade, and then all your ranger will be able to capture buildings. So in terms of vehicles, they have
Upgrade complete.
the Crusader tank, the Humvee, which is the most popular unit ever for USA, the ambulance, which is not far behind. I'm
Special
already
forces
under
here.
attack, and
Upgrade
those are
complete.
toxin rebels. I'm facing Dr.
Providing
Thrax.
fire support.
Um,
Buckle up.
so here is my Humvee,
Oh yeah. Whoa. Come on.
which has the which is one of the fastest vehicle in the game, which is very
Always
interesting.
prepared. Taking charge.
Let's
Come on
capture
in.
the old Derrick for
Be careful now.
additional resources, shall we? And bring others. Also,
Humvee here.
this vehicle can carry 5 infantry, and those infantry can fire from the inside. So,
Got my missile launcher right here.
a very popular tactic in the Zero Hour community,
Got my missile
because yes, this community is still alive, and this game is still very well played,
launcher. Yeah. Got my missile
is to play with what is called Rock Vs.
I want to blow on the trail.
And a Rock V, so a Humvee with 5 infantry, rocket infantry inside, is like devastating.
Check out our new tow missile.
Well, tow missile is an upgrade that I purchased here, and that upgrades all Humvees across the board with a big surprise,
Looks like a good run.
a tow missile. And now you will see the power of a Rock V.
Rip it up.
Unit lost.
This shit wrecks everything.
Let's go for it.
It did wreck 2 tanks
Yeah.
and is not destroyed, so it's something very bullshitty in my opinion. So meh. I don't like this because it devalue
New construction.
it makes everything else
On the
useless.
scaffolding.
Like even the ambulance right here can repair vehicles.
Humvee here.
That doesn't make any sense to me. There is a lot in this game that makes no sense to me, at least. Yeah. So next mechanic I will go into will be the general's power. So a general will gain experience from killing units, etc., killing buildings as well, and will unlock different vehicles. Some of those points are things that you can deploy on the battlefield, like this scanner is a default general's point if you want. I'm gonna just take a break from commentating and start building some stuff because I'm quite late when I see the
USA Armor Division.
what the opponent has. So yes, either you can have like deployable things like bombardments, paratroopers, repairs, etc., or you can unlock specially locked units like the paladin tanks, the stealth fighter, etc. On the paper it's not that bad, but the implementation is sometimes quite wonky. Let's put this ranger inside, because you know those units aren't that useful,
Yeah.
and sometimes you wonder why they are locked. So US has the possibility to upgrade all its vehicles, or its ground vehicles, sorry, with drones. Stay alive, you. So I took the battle drone that adds a machine gun to my vehicles, and also and also repaired them over time. And I lost my ambulance. Let's go. Ouch. Yeah, infantry inside a destroyed Humvee doesn't survive. So that's something to look at as well.
Congratulations, General. You have been promoted. Unit lost.
Okay. It's not that easy to play and actually speak at the same time. So now let's go for the Air Force. I unlocked... let's go for the Paladin tank. So, I bet that a pro zero-hour player will jump on his seat and say, "Well, that's not pro play. You should spam rugbies." Blah blah blah. Fuck you. I don't give a damn about meta gameplay. Not even in my favorite mods, so I'm not gonna try meta gameplay in that. I'm just showcasing the game and showing its flaws, its good points, etc. So in terms of good points, the modeling, texturing, etc. is quite decent for that time. I mean, because it was in 2003. And every unit, even from this distance, is very easily recognizable. Like even between this tank and this one is a Paladin, this one is a Crusader, you can easily tell the difference. So that's a good point. So I got a pilot from a destroyed vehicle, so that's quite good. Let's bring some upgrades as well and search and destroy. So USA has this battle plans stuff, so it can choose between 3 different strategies, but the most commonly used is search and destroy because it's the only one that is actually effective. Let's place my units a bit better, and let's bring 2 Avengers. So there are a lot of neat features in this game. So let's see the Air Force, shall we? So the little red zap you can see is called Point Defense Laser, and it simply zaps missiles. Yeesh. So also this kind of feature that is what's called it, garrisoning. So you can put infantry inside the civilian buildings, and you have specially designed units to bring them out. So in this case it's the Ranger, and this one can be upgraded with flashbangs, which I'm researching right now. Supply lines gives me a better rate for my supplies collection. So both with this supply drop zone and those Chinooks that are collecting, and also from my old Derricks. So this upgrade is a bit broken in my opinion, but you know. Okay, so now I've got the flashbangs. So let's clean this place.
Take the building.
Okay, so one flashbang to kill them all. Oops.
Air cover's on the way.
Yeah.
Nav system set.
Unit lost.
Visibility clear.
Congratulations, General. You have been
Flying
promoted.
low.
Humvee here. Rip it up. Keep the change.
Unit lost.
So now I'm trying to push a bit.
Looks like a good run.
Problem is that they have a lot of defenses right there, and they are quite good.
Our base is being attacked.
Mm.
Special forces here. Take the new position.
Ah, those rocket buggies.
Unit lost.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I played this game, so don't beat me too hard for being sucky.
Ha, it should be fun.
Unit lost.
Our base is under attack.
Yeah, I should have used formations and so on, but you know,
The change.
since I'm explaining at the same time, it's not that easy. So USA has very good point defense lasers
Go for it.
that zap almost any kind of missile in approach. So
Break it loose.
Gunship reporting in.
Laying the foundation. Let's clear those
Congratulations, General. You have been promoted. Unit lost.
I'm getting attacked.
lines. Let's go for it. Whoa! Chew on these. Oh, be careful now.
Okay.
Let's go. Let's go for it.
Unit lost.
So I'm doing a better job right now.
Break it loose.
It's not that excellent, but it's
Let's go.
better.
Oh yeah. Keep the change. Break it loose. Oh yeah.
So infantry is very valuable. Oh no, Palace. Forgot this shit. Palace is the technological building of the GLA,
Armor ready for action.
and it's very sturdy and can contain infantry that can shoot from inside. So it's a real pain in the rear to me.
This'll wake 'em up.
Unit lost.
So the 18 strike, which deals massive damage to anything.
Frequencies open. Nav system set. Visibility clear.
Let's clean the place a bit
Moving
more.
to new AO.
But yeah, that's a perk of GLA that I hate as
Air
well.
cover's on the way.
Serving freedom.
Making a sweep.
Unit lost.
Operation underway. Got you covered.
Preserving freedom.
Unit lost.
We're out of supplies over here.
Let's destroy that. Uh-oh.
Doing what's right. Freedom.
So,
Wanna make some
in terms of options,
on the job.
they are very diverse.
Unit lost.
Some stuff that I didn't showcase because I didn't have time.
I'll fire at anything. I want to blow something up. Laser guidance ready.
So this is called the laser lock. That allows the missile troopers to shoot faster, but you have to target manually each target, which is quite interesting, I think.
Have a job for me.
Got my missile launcher right here.
Preserving freedom.
Got my missile
No
launcher right
construction.
here.
I'm getting low on cash.
Let's pop some tanks.
Buck it up.
I want to blow something up, just like the 4th of July.
Yeah, some of the voice acting are quite weird, I agree, like the Missile Defender or whatever they are called. Missile Defender, yeah.
Got room for 5. How about a lift?
They're weird, but
On the trail.
it doesn't break anything in the game, so
Protecting our people.
not gonna base on it.
Some tanks.
But sometimes you're like just like this and you try to imagine what kind of voice actor would do that.
Paladin tank in the field. Taking her in.
Tactical
Any more
lasers online.
projects? Keep it clean. Closing the distance. It's the right thing to do.
Yeah, as I said, this Rock V is really, really powerful.
Be an honor.
Unit lost.
Polished and ready. We're moving.
And especially when you are a good player, so not like me, and you can micromanage your units and avoid them being killed. So they are fast enough to avoid missiles, etc. Not missiles, but enemies. So doing some hit and run tactics works very well with that kind of unit. Yeah, so I don't think it will go anywhere, but you got the gist of it. So
Unit
here is USA, so that's one base faction that goes quite well. All base factions are very good to me, but now we'll go to one of the Chinese generals and you will see what I mean by something's wrong. Just for the eyes.
Unit lost.
Yeah, this one is quite long. Was quite long just to explain most of the mechanics of the game, but the others will be very short. I don't think I will even have like an opponent or something like that. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do sandbox games and showcase what random units, random generals have. Like infantry general is a good example of what's the problem. So infantry general, let's see its powers. So it has up.
Let's build. That's a good
Let's do this. So it has this general power that allows his Red Guard equivalent, which is the basic infantry. The basic infantry to be elite from the get-go, which is a very interesting bonus, but is a two-edged sword, because if you lose a rank 1, a veteran minigunner, the opponent will get some experience. But if you lose an elite minigunner, you will earn more experience. So it has to be very carefully thought. So there is the minigunner, which has kind of a wind-up time and can also shoot air. So it's a very good unit, and all his infantry starts as veteran.
We have big plans.
Those are the good points.
A very good
Let's advance a bit to reach the less good points.
when it's done.
No.
Construction is complete. Let's build. That's a good
So another thing that General Phi, so the general of infantry, has is those bunkers. So the basic, all the other Chinese generals have bunkers. Those
Upgrade complete.
can have twice the amount of infantry inside. So it's not negligible, and
Build orders complete.
it has mines by default. So it's a real upgrade. I find it quite interesting, to be honest. Now, the real problem. Where are the tanks? Where? Infantry General lacks the standard tank, which is the Battlemaster. The heavy tank, which is the Overlord. So it's a big ass twin-barreled tank. And lacks the Gatling tank. The Gatling tank is the entire unit for China. Why on earth did that happen? Like, everything is concentrated into this unit, which is the assault troop crawler. It's a troop crawler that can contain eight units, and comes with 8 of those minigunners you just saw.
Defenders of peace.
Let's build.
And then can shoot from inside. So by default, I'd say it's a good equivalent of a Gatling tank.
Ready for assault.
And it can also detect stealth and broadcast propaganda. So
Use the handrails. We have captured the building, sir.
it's a good support unit, but it's not a tank, like, at all. This thing breaks in shatter in a few shots. So
We are the Red Guard.
I agree that having a unit that spams a lot may need to get less armor or something like that. But to this point, it's just ridiculous. And this is only an example of what's wrong. Like, for instance, the tank general for China doesn't have any kind of artillery. Why? Because it has thick armor, so it can break through. It does make a bit of sense, but it's shitty, to be honest. It's shitty. It doesn't have any reason to be like that. Other examples, in USA, there is absolutely no general, none of them, that has access to the Paladin tank you saw. Only the base faction has it. Why? Why? Just why? Explain me why. The laser general, for instance, could have it because it has, that point laser defense. But no. Even laser general is even worse because it doesn't have any kind of artillery either. So it's complete bullshit all the time. And I think the two worst generals in that case are the infantry general that has no tanks, no AA whatsoever. Well, no dedicated AA vehicle. Anti-air AA. And the second worst was what's his name? Kassad. Stealth general. Stealth general for GLA has nothing. It has no tanks. It has no heavy artillery. And you're like, okay, so what am I supposed to do? You're supposed to be stealthed. Okay, but that doesn't prevent me from doing some long range stuff. You have the rocket buggies that you saw earlier, but let's be serious 2 seconds. That's not the way you do it. Like, China relies on numbers, so when you have this star under your units, it means that they are hoarded, so they gain a rate of fire bonus, which is very neat. So this one has it as well, but there is a bug that makes them not displaying their star. So the kind of little bug that doesn't withdraw anything from the game. And there is that, and also the Battle Master tank that I talked about a lot of times now. Has it as well. And also this unit, the Tank Hunter, has it. So it's quite a limited feature, but when you have a general like General Fai, the infantry general, that relies a lot on this, withdrawing a third of that opportunity is a huge blow. In my opinion. You do whatever you want. I'm not judging the pros of Zero Hour will say that for balance, etc., etc., you can say whatever you want. To me, it sucks. So let's talk a bit about China. China relies a lot on, so as I said, this feature called Horde Bonus. So that displays the star under the units, and also on propaganda that displays this little cross over it, so that heals infantry, and that gives them also a bonus of damage or rate of fire. I can't remember. So China relies a lot on those bonuses, and it's pretty interesting. And also you can have this general power called Frenzy that adds more damage, and is presented like this. So all units will turn angry red, and will have 10% bonus at stage 1, etc. So China, in short, horde bonus, propaganda, frenzy bonuses, etc. So their units early game are weak. Let's be honest, they are weak. But when they are numerous, when they are well used, when they are under propaganda effect, they are devastating. China is quite the brute force faction. It also has, I will try to show this, it has a few very neat units like the ECM tank that is very popular in how do you call that, in PvP, because it can deflect missiles. So it's very popular against GLA versus those rocket buggies that you saw earlier and that I will show you after. But they can also disable a single tank, which is very useful. So if you have like China in front of you, and they have like the Overload tank, which is a very big twin-barreled tank, it's very useful to have that kind of feature. So it's very popular for obvious reasons. So yeah, if you just, and it's very quick, as you can see. Of course, a more advanced tank will make will have to be focused more lengthy time before being disabled. But you get the idea. What else? Well, we can talk about their air force. I didn't talk a lot about these super weapons because they are not really used. They are not very popular. Even with mods, they are not very popular. So I will keep them aside. But Chinese super weapon, the nuclear missile, has also some upgrades in it, which is also a weird design choice to me. So instead, because they are very strong upgrades, so there is no better place to put them. But to me, it's meh. It's not that good. The Helix, for instance, is one of the most used units. Maybe an overused unit, especially for infantry general. So it's a very big helicopter, as you may see.
The thunderstorm begins.
Whoops. So it's a very big helicopter that can transport units, drop napalm bombs, etc. And infantry inside can shoot outside. So this feature of infantry loaded that can shoot outside is very popular in this mode, in this game. Sorry.
Understood.
So that's also something. Infantry is very valuable, but maybe too much, because tanks are barely seen in game. The Crusader tank for the USA is never seen. So enough with China. I know it's a bit quick, but I don't want this video to last for 1 hour, but I think it will anyway. And last but not least, the GLA. And I will go with Toxin, and I will explain you one other career loss. Well, I've got a loss. Okay.
I'm just a peasant.
So,
This is hard work.
contrary to
No,
other
I
factions,
will work.
GLA doesn't have dozers but have workers.
Cannot we live in
That means two
peace?
things: that they are
I will
a
work.
lot cheaper, and that
I will do
they
what I
are
must.
more fragile and more prone to be crushed. So when you have two GLA players, most of the time you see players rushing with their technical. So that's the jeep you may have seen that has a machine gun mounted on it, and crushing the workers, because not only they are the builders, but they are also the supply collectors. So a technical coming here and taking out all of the workers, that's very frequent and maybe a bit too much.
I will work. I will try to hurry.
And also, so as I said, a thing that I find quite disturbing
I will work.
is that some generals so have lacks, severe lacks in their
Watch for the enemy.
abilities, and some of them have
Land must be preserved.
too much stuff. Like, for instance, any kind of missile-based infantry for the Toxin general has toxin missiles. There are toxins almost everywhere. So
The enemy.
the base defense, instead of having a machine gun, has a toxin sprayer. It has the Anthrax Beta, which is an upgrade. It has it by default, and it has even another upgrade, which is called Anthrax Gamma, which upgrades the damage even further. So this general, it's not overpowered, but you get the idea. It has a lot of perks from the get-go.
Are there not better tools?
Perks that other generals either don't have or have to pay an upgrade for. For instance, Demolition General doesn't have any access to Anthrax upgrades. Since he's more focused on demolitions, he neglects toxins for
Guarding the
more
GLA
explosives,
underground.
which is a style. Well, you like it, you don't like it. It's
That was a lot of work.
it's a matter of taste. So here we have the different generals points. So this Scud launcher, so it's an unlock, Marauder tank, technical training. The ambush is allows you to drop some rebels at a point. Cash bounties. This one is very popular. It allows you to have some kind of money of reward each time you kill an enemy. In terms of money, dropping an anthrax bomb, the sneak attack tunnel. So this tunnel is actually a tunnel network. So if I put another one somewhere else,
This is hard work.
I can put those inside.
Sense danger may be near.
La 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 la. Yeah, build times are sometimes quite long.
A lot of work.
Our
So
land must be
this tunnel comes by default with 2 toxin troopers. So you can transport your units. For instance, this one from one side to another, and if you have like multiple of them, you can have a whole network. That's a good addition, and this general point allows you to have a tunnel popping anywhere on the map, so you don't have to put a worker anywhere. And to balance stuff, it doesn't have any kind of turret over it. That's a good point. I will show you one of my favorite units, which is the Scud Launcher,
Yes,
and it's the Palace.
do what I must.
So instead of having an upgrade or having a radar by default, they need to purchase a radar van that provides radar and can spot hidden units. The Scorpion tank, it's a basic tank. The technical, I told you about it. It's a very fast jeep. The quad cannon, which is the most overused unit of all times. Even in mods, this thing is overpowered. The toxin tractor, so that can decimate infantry and also can clear buildings. Moreover, the tank is a medium tank. That is quite good. The bomb truck, I will show you that. The rocket buggy, it's also very used harass unit. This one is an upgrade that allows the Scorpion to have a rocket. GLA is very diverse and versatile. You can feel that it functions with what it can get. Also, with that, when you destroy an enemy unit, it leaves some salvage on the battlefield. So I was try if it works with
That was a lot.
allies as well, but I'm not sure. So you see Anthrax Gamma here. So if
Punch it. Yes, yes.
come on.
Begin stitching.
A warrior has
No,
fallen.
it doesn't. So if you destroy an enemy, it will leave a salvage crate that will allow some of the vehicle to get upgraded. So you roll over it with your vehicle and you salvage it. And like for instance, the quad cannon gets stronger guns. The technical can get like some kind of grenade or rocket launcher. I can't remember. It's very well made, and you have like very specific stuff, like those terrorists. So this is a toxin terrorist, of course. And also, I didn't talk about heroes. So each faction has a hero unit.
I make the sacrifice. I am prepared.
Yeah, you are prepared. Oh. Ah, yeah, that's a car bomb. It doesn't have the button to.
Fully vested.
A warrior
Voilà.
has fallen.
Yeah, too used to mods.
Ready for dispatch. Not responsible for damaged
Yeah.
goods.
I thought it was that detonate now.
Shipment
So
on the way.
it can have. It can disguise itself as a vehicle.
Should we look like they will be fooled?
being an ally or an enemy. So if you disguise it as an ally, you can say, no, it's not a bomb truck, it's a technical or something else. And if you disguise it as a enemy vehicle, you can fool the enemy, or try to as well. Yeah. So the hero unit, Jarmenkel, is a sniper, so he can snipe infantry at long range, and also has the ability to snipe a single vehicle, so it will lose its pilot. It's a neat feature, but not that good to me, because since you have infantry, very often you have infantry, so you can recover it before the GLA player does. China has Black Lotus, who's a hacker and can disrupt vehicles on the battlefield or capture building at long range and faster than regular infantry, so it's a real pain in the rear when she's on the battlefield. And USA has Colonel Burton, yeah, who has a big machine gun and C4 charges that can destroy buildings very, very quickly.
I am going.
So, your choice. The rocket buggy, which is quite an iconic unit for GLA,
In the dust.
which throws rockets. It can fire on the move. It's really a very good harass unit. What else? Well, there is not much to say about that. So while I'm waiting for the Scott to come, it's time to go to a conclusion with this game. This game is, to me, it's a lot of nostalgia, of course.
Shall I push the button?
Yeah, you shall.
Their tragedy will come. Getting in range.
Yeah, so for the time when I had this game, I was a lot younger and I absolutely loved it. And to this day, I still appreciate this game. But now that I've been into the mods, what they can add, etc., I find the base game really lacking because of the real imbalance of gameplay between the factions. X general doesn't have tanks, Y general doesn't have artillery, etc., etc. That's annoying. And there are a lot of mods that compensate the lacks, and there are mods that change the gameplay. This game, to this day, it's like almost 15 years old now, and still it's really well played. It's played by a lot of players, being the base game or the mods. They are played either casually or competitively. There are still World Series of Command and Conquer Generals, which is a record not all games have. Like I think StarCraft 2 is the only other game I have in mind that does that. Or maybe I'm not sure if there are Red Alert 2 tournaments, but hey. This game is excellent. It is very diverse. The missions are very funny for some of them. The challenge mode is very challenging. LOL. It's a good game. It's an excellent game. And there are good mods and there are less good mods. A mod is the realization of what a person think of a game to me. For instance, those who made Shockwave, they thought exactly the same thing I did. So it's bullshit that this general doesn't have tanks. It's bullshit that this one doesn't have artillery, etc., etc. So they took the game and expanded it. And some of them said, "Hey, it would be good if we added this mechanic, etc." There are mods that transform the game completely. There are mods that add a shit ton of units. There are mods that do crazy stuff. There is a mod called Crazy Mod. Will I do it? You bet your ass I will do. But that's my introduction to this new series. I will present 0-hour mods and maybe some generals mod. I saw that some modders actually were more interested in having the base game modded, which is also very interesting. I will try to understand their reasons, etc. And I will present them as well. So until that time, I say you goodbye and see you very soon.